What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream. We're back in our Deck Knight project, a game built from scratch, of course, using Unreal Engine 5, C++, blueprints, and the gameplay ability system plugin. So today we're going to continue our work on our melee special attack, which is our hold Y, which is like a simple kind of dash forward, but we kind of want to add a little bit more flavor, more like maybe timing aspects, and things just to try to make it a little more interesting, maybe even stronger. And then, we'll do a couple things. We'll see what we can kind of figure out. Because what I'd like to see is like a timing aspect where if you hold it and then after like some second, there's like a time, like you'll see like a glint or something on the sword, or some, obviously audio cues as well, maybe force feedback. And then to let go. And then if you time it correctly, you get like a bonus of like damage or some progression layers on top of that. And I think it could be interesting. And I don't know, I don't know if I want you to be able to do it while in air. It seems kind of interesting, but I feel like I want to see what I can do with like. Also have to make sure I get actual jumping animations back in eventually. Right now we're just kind of working with revamping your character controller and everything like that. Because it might be interesting to have like, the Y attack being like a air juggle thing where you kind of uppercut up and then the hold charge is like this. Or, you have these attacks, but then if you hold, it does like the charge instead, and then Y is like the uppercut or something, We'll have to play around, because I would like to have air juggling and stuff like that, and it could be pretty interesting, like added layers of the combat. Or maybe it's just like a one-off ability you can unlock or something. We'd have to see. So I need to think a little bit about what I want to do today, right? So I want to work on this timing aspect of the charge. And I'd like to visualize the charge as like a path forward. So just imagine like a gradient kind of target data-ish thing where it's like material on the ground and you kind of just see the progress going. And we want to be able to visualize this kind of clearly. Obviously on flat surfaces it's going to be simple, but I don't know how you want to do it on like uneven terrain and stuff like that. Because I do have, for example, I think there's like a target data thing somewhere. Because I used to have a targeting ability. Let me see if I can find that thing. Or it kind of draws the circle and you can kind of select stuff. I'd like to see what we can grab from that. So player ability system, abilities, examples, and casting examples, right? And there's this VP aim reticle. And it is a decal, so maybe it could look decent. But there's this aim cast circle, right? And I kind of want to have something similar to this. Hey, thanks for the follow, the fake genius. I hope you become a real genius someday. How you doing? Thanks for popping in. So I want to have like something like this, but obviously not really a circle. More of like, I guess, a square. So I guess I would have to kind of draw some sort of plane. But, it is a decal. So I'd have to figure out how do I kind of draw a progress bar kind of shape in material. So we would have to maybe look this up. So I'm not super great with materials and everything like that. So let me see. What a, let's see, UE5, how to make progress bar material decal. Yes. We get some information here. So it's giving us some information. So let's see if we can follow it along. So art abilities in cast, we'll say melee, and then we'll just do it here so we can create a new material. So we're just saying M melee special bar. And then we'll open the material editor by double clicking it, button details panel, change material name domain to defer decal, and blend mode to translucent. Apply, save changes, okay, yay. Build the progress bar logic in the material editor, create a scene texture node, okay. Set it to scene depth, grass. Use a linear interpolate, linear. Is there an interpolate? No, to blend between two colors based on a progress bar float. Okay. Let's see if we can more as reference, because I'm following like Google's AI kind of thing, so maybe I could just follow this. So yeah, like this pic comes from progress bar in materials. Oh, I think there is a marketplace thing. Do I really feel like buying this too? Kind of expensive. I don't know if I really want to do that. Put the purple layered in a dynamic material and on top of the same right. Okay, so this doesn't really give me an answer. Cool. I don't want it to technically want it to be. I don't want it to be explicitly a UI thing. I want it to be just like kind of a decal I can control. Like Tom Lumen has a example. Here's a YouTube video. Maybe we can watch this.
Mercifully and watching Switch of video. Today we will make this kind of slider. See how cool is this? You can change color, you can change styling, lots of parameters you can change in this one. So let's start this tutorial. So let's start this. So first I'll just right click and make a material and
Yeah, we're gonna watch this guy and see what we can grab from it. You're
basically
gonna be
I
hearing him in the
already
background.
tutorial.
So
But this is the like you have to create it but have rectangle you can use and
generate a round rectangle.
connect this here.
Let's just follow his word for word, and then we can just see if we can
So
update
first
it the way we
I'll
want,
just
right?
right click and make a material and
Make it a material.
bar. And to make that shape, basically I have already this tutorial, but this is the like you have to create it what already Unreal gives. So you don't have to recreate the wheel. So you just have to type here generate and there is lots of things route rectangle you can use and I'll go to unlit, connect this here and see you and I'll and there is lots of things route rectangle you can use and I'll go to unlit, connect this here, and see you have this.
I need to make it a decal, I wonder. Surface opaque. Unlit. Right, that's what he's doing.
Now the dimension we can change. This is 2 vectors, so I'll just connect this here, and this is 1 and 1. So this is the 1 and 1 size, but we can make it like 0.5, 0.2 this one, or maybe just 0.1. Let's make some space. So you have this, cool. And then we can change this to maybe 0.6 and 0.5. That would be better. Okay, and then we have the corner radius. So by default, this is 0.12. So maybe 0.1. Yeah, this is perfect. Now these are all round. So this is the shape I have. So what I'll do, I'll just duplicate this, or just make it multiply it with the color. Let's say this one. And now with the slider, we have to dissolve it from one side to other, but this should be something unique. So what I'll do, I'll take a texture coordinate, shift C for the mask, and I'll take this gradient, red gradient, this. Then I'll take a smooth step and connect this here. And I'll make these parameters. So with the smooth step, I will have control if I want to make it sharper or fadier. So
Guy's going too fast. Hold
further, but this should be something unique.
hope I'm gonna be able to
So
like
what I'll do, I'll take a texture coordinate, shift C for the mask, and I'll take this gradient, red gradient.
texture
Then I'll
coordinate.
take
Oh,
a
I made a comment
smooth
somehow.
step
Hey, thanks for the follow there,
and connect this here.
Commonly44.
And I'll make these parameters. So with the smooth step, I will have control if I want to make it sharper or fadier. So I'll just make this minimum and this maximum parameter and 1. And maximum should always be greater than minimum. So I will add these together for the maximum. Then I will multiply
Hold on. Don't know what I'm doing truly.
this whole thing. You can multiply here, and then you can use the color at very end. Okay. And let's also make this
Multiplying these two and then here.
a parameter color. Okay, cool. So now let's save it and check.
This seems
Now if I make
interesting.
the instance of this,
I would definitely want there to be a
you
glow.
can see with this value, I can dissolve it, and this fadeness we can decrease by making this lower like this. And you can make this two-sided here also. Let's turn this. So now this is two-sided material. So you can just change like this. So it's working from right to left now. You can make it even harder like this, but we don't want that. We want maybe this much is enough. But what I want, this part should go up. So how you do?
We need to make something more alpha-y. I guess make it for decal and then translucent. Guess that kind of works, right? sort of works. I don't know how expensive of a material that is. So I don't know what that really looks like. It's like this. It kind of looks like this kind of decal. Can I throw in decal? It's hard to see. That kind of gives the impression that I'm looking for. I just need to have it see. I need it to be more visible. So I need to put the base color here as well. Does that do anything? Emissive color, size, sharpness. I want it to be super sharp. I also need to figure out. Hey, Camo, how you doing? How goes? It goes good. We're just working on trying to visualize some sort of like bar for our special melee attack, like in the world. So we kind of would draw something like this, but it's not super visible. I'm just kind of curious how to make it a little more visible. Color itself is that way, but I guess it's the box dimension, corner radius, sharpness. Oh, it's been a while? Okay, well, I appreciate popping the head back in. Good to see you. This is what this is 0, and this is with this 1. So both of them at 0. This is 0.1. So I guess this would be the progress bar. So it'll go from like this to this to this to this to this, to this to this, whatever the case might be. I might need to. So I'm assuming this is the direction that I kind of want to go in. Oh, Lord. What happened? Now it's too sharp. Why? All right, so now I'm having a misrepresentation. What happened here? Again. What did I change? That is it the sharpness? Oh. Oh, the base color. This would be 0. This be 0. And this is 1. This would be 1. And this be 0. 0.1. So what's this is 0? Full, right? Have to be like that. Had any forgetting to set radius to above 0 moments recently? Oh, I'm sure I have. So I don't know exactly how to improve the visibility though of this. So let me make this 1 so it's all the way visible. Right, like that's too like visible. Making that sharper, I don't think it does much, right? Corner radius. Is it just a straight up square? Box dimensions, normal, opacity, metallic, specular. Is it because I made it translucent? Like, that's kind of what I want, but then I want masked. Sort of. Hello, Insane Doggo. What's up? What's up? What? Default lit? Oh. For decal. Translucent. I just don't know how to improve the translucency, like brightness. I guess. Do I have to like multiply it by just like a scalar or something? 100 do here? Sort of. Like, what does that look like in practice when I'm spawning? It's like that, right? Obviously, I don't want it to be affecting characters in that way. But now, let's see, the color is a little too intense. Look. Maybe I can just put a simple brass material. No. Like, I don't want to add back. That okay? That looks funky as fuck, but whatever. Okay. The dirt. Maybe I don't really care. Just put rock break back on. Yeah, I'm wondering if it needs to be a decal that kind of grows in material. Like, I feel like that makes more sense instead of making it like an actor or something. Like, if I make it that small, like height wise, it shouldn't really affect the character like it was before, but also might want it to just have it ignore characters anyway. I don't know how to do that though. But the whole basic idea would be to go from, 0.1 to like 2 or whatever. In the course of whatever time I want my ideal size to kind of be. And then, if the player lets go, that's when, it'll kind of work, right? And, I'd want to, make the, I guess, max distance equal to, so like the max, I guess, forward, for example, would need to be the same size as like my max length for charging, So we'd have to look at that too. We have something, right? So let's not fuck around too long, because it will probably never be exactly perfect. And I wonder, like, if I can just spawn the decal, not really explicitly spawn an actor, if that's going to be more performant or something like that. So let's just go into our special hold. So melee hold. You might need to like refactor some things at some point to make things a little more what's the word, unique, I guess. What's my, like, I also don't like how long it's taking to spawn an editor and also despawn from editor. Maybe I need to just restart my PC or something. But yeah, so here's the logic. All of this is going to be eventually moved to C++. So what I think I could do is, because when we start, we call hold time, and then we get here, and then we have the repeat event that kind of updates the distance, right? So I should hopefully be able to do something here. Can I, there's a spawn actor, but is there like a, what can I do if I type in decal? There is spawn decal at location. Okay, so we should be able to grab this. And yeah, we'll draw the full bar by default just so we can see it, right? So decal size, this is where you would need to kind of figure out some dimensions for it. Lifespan, I'm assuming 0 is infinite good. We'll have to also make this a variable. So melee distance visualization decal. So location, we want to give it our location, right? Rotation, I'm not too sure about. And this size that we have over here is 128 by 256 by 256. So let's work with that just to see if we see our thing, right? Then eventually we'd have to increase the X from what I'm seeing. Now, what is the local coordinates of this thing? I guess it's the Z then, if that's how it's kind of moving. Yeah, so back to 1.8. So 256, right? And yeah, we'd have to, I guess, spawn it offset correctly too. Because, like, it's expanding kind of from the center. So we'd have to offset it too. But let's see what this looks like. If I play now, something should show. And we see it. So that's good, right? And I guess it stays. Um, so there has to be a way, because I think in here, if I'm not mistaken, I thought there was a way to say to ignore. I'll have to look it up. I'm pretty sure there's a way to ignore, I guess, certain actors or something like that. We can quickly look that up. Decal, ignore. Gotcha, ignore some decals but not others. I think it's in the material of the characters, I think. That decal response to none. Decal response. Oh. Decal response. So how do I update the decal response debug? Do stencils. I could also potentially not use a decal and simply apply the translucent material to an actor or to a cube. Maybe that could work too. Or a plane. You know what I mean? So what options do I have for plane? Because I would like a plane that kind of. We got a kitty in the house. Yay! Hey, oh, we got Lola. Hey, Lola. How you doing? People are having ASMR with the cat on the microphone. Hey. We're officially distracted. Oh. We want to do Google. Isn't that your next to Google? Let's open up a few planes here. Because if we can find one that scales in a particular axis correctly, that would be nice. So let's open up a few of them. So let's go one by one, just drop it in. How does it, so it's definitely not going to scale correctly because it's going to go like that from the middle. This one is the same. No. Don't put your butthole on my hand, please. This one also no good. Also not good. Okay. Hold on. Boo boo. Stop rubbing the microphone. Good kitty. And I'm assuming this water plane is going to be the same, so maybe we gotta rethink about this too. Like, maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. Like, maybe the charge has to be, yeah, kitty cat distraction achieved for sure. Maybe it shouldn't be like a progression. Maybe the progression material would exist on the sword. Like, I'm kind of thinking about how I would want to possibly kind of visualize like the charge strength of the special attack, you know? Like, part of me wants to have like this like kind of visual projection of it, but I'm not sure the best way to handle it. If it should be a decal, or if it has to be some sort of mesh or something. Let's see if there's anything on Fab that can give us some ideas. I don't even know how to describe what I'm looking for, you know? So maybe I'm going to type in like, okay, I can't get access to my keyboard now because the cat's in the way. All right, Lola, I need you to move. I'm thinking like, you know, charge, strength, visualization. Cartoon energy charges. So I don't want to get like stuff about, you know, visualizing debug information, you know? So draw, I guess, world. Radio progress bar. I have health and UI stuff. So charge, melee, attack. Let's just see if I have any information. Because it could be, maybe it's like a Niagara effect or something. So stealth finishers, blah, 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 melee AI system, blah, 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 melee system pro, melee traces. Oh, you can get this plugin for free. That's pretty cool. And I work with this guy, actually. I should thank him. Melee combat bundle. Pack trails. Congo grounds. Claw attacks. Ice attacks. Skill indicators. Ah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Skill indicators. Skill trees. Bullet skill. Magic skill, VFX. Ability skill, UI sound. Icon pack. Maybe I would need something like that, but not now. Eye skill, VFX interactive. Skill system. Character status, blah, blah, blah. Gathering skills. A lot of icons. Energy shields. Maybe something like this then? It seems kind of promising. Indicator animation curve, indicator material, indicator class to spawn, delay, linear. It seems promising. We can YOLO and buy this, why not? And we'll see what happens. We'll let it take its time. Okay. Should be in plugins. Trace data filter. Fab. Do in my library. Can I edit my project or what? We'll see if we just wasted like $10. Install plugin. I think we're gonna have to kind of copy it into our directory though, because we have a custom engine version. So let's close out of everything. Sure. I did finish the melee trace subsystem for now. Like we were able to now to draw the shape around the character rather than just the sword. So now we're trying to work on like some sort of like indicator shape and stuff like that. But yeah, we downloaded, or we bought a plugin, now we're downloading it and installing it. But it just feels like my computer's a little bit sluggish. close out of all of that. Find 5.6. My PC is shitting the pants. The suspicious part is that they don't demonstrate edge cases, just decal over clean plane. I mean, that's all I really need for now. Like, obviously, yeah, let's see what it looks like on uneven terrain, if it kind of just keeps the flatness there, if it projects down, or, you know, I'm not sure how it really looks like, but, you know, for the time being, should be enough to kind of showcase what we're trying to achieve, and we can evolve it later, you know. Unreal Engine, do I have 5.6 here? I do. Is it under Engine, Plugins, Marketplace, Skills Indicator here. Oh yeah, let's go into Arctic Night. I don't know if it needs to be in this plugin. No. Boop, boop. Engine, plugins, marketplace. Let's copy it in here. Go. Here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's open up Writer again. And hopefully after doing a full recompile, clean recompile of the project over and a little bit smoother, I don't know. Do its thing. And yeah, we'll see if we wasted our money or not. Always a fun little experiment, you know? Hope everyone's weekend is going pretty decently good so far. I gotta do a bunch of stuff today, so I'm kind of streaming early. And yeah, we have our melee trace subsystem working decently enough. It's not the best, obviously, but good enough for the time being. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get to the air juggling stuff just yet. Like the title suggests. I want to figure out if that's something we want for the game. Because I'm trying to find some like interesting progression paths for the player, for this character. Because, you know, I'm still putting off the work that needs to be done to get like the cards interesting. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm just delaying it because I'm nervous or I'm unsure, you know? But I also know there's just so many other parts of these systems that I know need to be kind of done as well. So I kind of have to like pick my battles, and I think I'm picking them wrong. Like, I want a solid combo and a solid melee base foundation, and then build cards around that for the character, you know? And get things like block and parry in, just to have a foundation to then evolve the cards over there. Yeah, grapple hooks and synced actions. Two features that cause no problems at all. So definitely, yeah, don't need synced actions in my game. Don't care about that at all. No grapple hook. Air juggling, I think, can be interesting, especially for this kind of melee character. Having a basic melee combo is important. Having a special alternative, but then having the special and the basic melee feed into each other in some way. That makes it interesting to go back and forth, you know? That's important. So kind of what I'm thinking is, you know, like using your special, like if you damage enemies with your special, it applies some status on them. And then when you damage them with your basic combo, while they have that status inflicted on them, you know, makes the damage increase. Or it adds to your style meter. Or it gives you more card resource on death when you kill them. Just to have a good reason to feed into each other. And then add progression layers to that. Add card mechanics to that where, you know, you play your card, now your special also applies burn when you do it. And then consecutive hits stack the burn up. Or something to that effect. You know, having some connective tissue between the basic and the special is key. And then having the block and parry feed into this as well. In some way. All to be kind of figured out. But once we have that kind of foundation, then we can kind of work on cards that kind of feed into that. And then enemies that can kind of feed into that and counteract that or, you know, challenge that. At least that's what I'd like to try, you know? We'll see. So yeah, let's go into Fab. Let's go into... language, wish list, my library, right? Just want to look at the documentation again. So in theory, now let me also just go to plugins. Is there, do I have to enable it now? Yes. Restart. I'm gonna regenerate. Then I want to do spawn indicator rectangle. And then I gotta create a indicator behavior definition. There's inverted, linear, step, order. Should be able to rebuild now. Seems pretty straightforward. I guess for anyone who wants to read the documentation as well, there you go. But now we should be able to go, in theory, quote unquote in theory, go into our special, no, sorry, melee hold. Bam, bam, bam. Screw you. Now we should be able to say spawn indicator rect. So I'm gonna have to assume some things first. So yaw rotation, I'm guessing has to be 0. Offset by width, we'll have to see what that means. There's no real examples. Can I show plugin content, engine content? There you go. So there's some examples here we can at least look at. So is there a rectangle? Circle options, but yeah, wrecked. Get wrecked. So we'll just do wrecked. And then position. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some similar stuff here. We're gonna go bam, bam. Rotation. I'm hoping it can literally just be get actor rotation. I'm hoping we can just split this and just use the yaw. Or maybe rotation could be empty and yaw rotation is just this. Height and width, so this way and this way. So width I think can stay as is, and height would have to be max distance. Time 1 second for now. And then we have some callbacks. It says, so on indicator start and on indicator finished. Those are good to have callbacks there as well. Because then I can kind of set a timer to say, okay, it just finished. You have a quarter of a second or something to release, you know, and then you get the bonus or something, right? So we can say assign on indicator start. So when we start the indicator, we can most likely do this callback where we set the timer. And we could do adjust max distance. Is there a callback on tick or something? Assign. Maybe it's not necessary. But then, yeah, assign on finish. Of course, we're going to clean all this up, right? So we're going to say print string, right? Finish. And let's just see what this might look like. Oh, okay, problem. The current values do sound like it's pretty valid. So, okay, can I literally just split that and just leave it like that? What happens? Okay. So, I guess the current problem is that it disappears, which I don't like. So maybe we'd have to update some of the internal logic or figure out a way to do that. And also, yeah, we need to maybe make sure that it matches the control rotation. Get player controller. That definitely seems promising. So get control. Whoops. Do this. Wait, that fixes that. So yeah, we're gonna have to look at some of this logic to see. Maybe it's a setting or something for it to disappear. Linear material indicator delay, life duration, automatic. So maybe we'd have to also kind of look at the code, I assume. Shouldn't be a big deal to reverse engineer it, but I kind of like how this looks. Ow. Indicator material, indicator class, the spawn. So it is a blueprint class. I hope it is. I wish it was a little more lightweight. I hope these can also be deferred spawned. I'm hoping that's what this does. Maybe we can open up the code here. So indicator library, worlds here, can't be negative, does all of that. Spawn decal. Okay, it's spawn deferred, great. Does all that. Great. Flip phone, boom. Okay, straightforward. Some. So what do we need to say here? Just as a test, I'm going to say manual. I want to see if it disappeared. No. Great. Okay. So we handle it ourselves. So distance also doesn't really matter. Well, we kind of figure out the max time, right? And we also got to figure out, because there's a linear curve. So like we'll have to make sure our curves match. That's for one, just so all the timings are here. So height width is another thing. Maybe we could figure that out. Because it might also need to match, you know, the radius of the spheres that we want to have. So maybe that has to be connected in a specific way. Because I think that's all data driven, which maybe it shouldn't be. Well, it should be data driven, but it's hard. Like a data table value, that's kind of maybe I have to make it like a float curve or something, so that could be an attribute or some value. You know what I mean? We'd have to see. So now the next problem is just the decal itself. So receives decals, decal root, components. What are... So this is the material. That's this rectangle, right? So width, height, two-sided width and height, yeah? Where is this guy? The color, opacity, radius, border radius, main radius, selected behavior, use two-sided height with true, height, false. Then there's the master material. Different decal. Is there... Oh, oops, why is everything capital? Like, do I have to just say that, that, like, I don't receive decals or something? So, for example... Since it's a decal, it should work on uneven terrain. But we'll have to just kind of see. So if I go to my character, I have to do it on everybody, right? So the mouse off. Yeah, now that looks fine, right? But yeah, now I got to make sure. How hard is game development? That's a good question. It's hard. It's hard for different reasons for different people, you know. Some people are good programmers, some are good designers, some are good artists, and then the hard part is filling out the rest of the game with the skills that you may not have. So learning how to be okay with, outsourcing art or programming or plugins and stuff. Don't try to build everything yourself. Know your skill set. Know what you want to make. Try to keep a consistent vision. Do your best to be consistent. Working with a team, it's yes is the answer. Sorry. Working with a team, kind of the same thing. Try to be humble, try to be communicative, try to be open, try to be understanding, but also kind of make sure to keep others accountable, keep yourself accountable, own up to mistakes, own up into issues. If you don't know something, be honest about it. If you help where you can, know your limits. Try your best to make something fun, That's the end goal, right? Make something that you want to make. So now I need to figure out why this max distance. Let me print out. Let me draw that debug circle again, or sphere. So the center is going to be here. Here, let's make it some recognizable color. How'd you get into game development and how did you learn it? By the way, nice demo I'm seeing here. All the best on the project. Much appreciated. Well, I went to school for it. Honestly, college is a waste of money for this kind of stuff, in my opinion. But I did go to school for it back in 2010, so 15 years ago, pretty long time ago. But that's where I got introduced to Unreal Engine. So back then it was still Unreal Engine 3 or UDK. That was the engine I kind of liked the most. I learned a little bit of Unity at that time. Unity at that time wasn't that great. I think back then too, Godot wasn't really a thing. We learned the Hammer editor, which was like the Half-Life editor. We learned the Warcraft 3 editor. We also learned Cry. I guess, is it called CryEngine editor or just Cry editor, something like that. But yeah, that was the one I liked the most. Unreal Engine, I kind of stuck with it. And then, I made a lot of YouTube tutorials back in those days with Unreal Engine 3 and 4. And then I eventually found my first job in Serbia. So I worked on a project there. And then I moved here to Poland. And then that's where I worked at People Can Fly for a few years. Worked on Outriders and the World Slayer DLC. And now I'm at CD Projekt Red working on Witcher 4. So just time and consistency. Find something you like, find something you're interested in learning. Nowadays Unity is super viable. Godot is super viable. Game Maker, everything's viable. Don't think you have to learn Unreal Engine. Just try to make what you think is fun. Find the appropriate engine to do it, I guess is the right word. So do I get this callback event? Let me just make sure. Okay, so I don't get this callback now, which is interesting. Do I get this callback when it's automatic? No. Interesting. So something is broken with this. Maybe I have to fix it myself. So yeah, when it comes to payments and long, rigorous working hours, it really is company to company. Obviously you have to do it for, for some way to maintain yourself and for your living, right? So money is an aspect of it. You gotta just be honest with yourself there. But it truly should come from passion. Passion is what kind of keeps you going. the money is just the benefit of it all. I with my role, Poland has different currency. I'm originally from the States, so Poland has a different currency and economy and stuff. So I get paid well for what I do. I get to live comfortably. I don't work rigorous hours. I usually work on average 8 to 9 hours a day. Only rarely will I push that, but it depends on the project, depends on the company, depends on the work culture. There's a lot of variables. Okay, so we just see that the on indicator start event doesn't actually work. So that's fun, but we can probably fix that ourselves. But let's first worry about setting this timer ourselves, right? I just want to see how this distance is matching to this shape, right? So you go like that. But yeah, we don't want it to what's the word? Destroy itself automatically. So boop, boop. Go like that. So it seems like you've reached the end. So that seems to work. But it feels like I'm offshooting it now. And it might be because of the attack itself, like the motion warping and then where the root motion kind of is. Opinion on GTA 6 and how it'll change the gaming industry. I'm not sure yet. Let me use the bathroom real quick and I'll get back to you. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, I had a poop. GTA 6 and how it'll change the gaming industry. Like, I don't know, games like GTA, I don't really play GTA games that much. Like, I played GTA 4, the one with, I forget the character's name, but the Serbian Balkan guy. Didn't play 5. I don't know if I want to play 6. I have a friend that is working at Rockstar, New York. And she's told me stuff, but like nothing about the game, but just about the culture and stuff. And I won't speak about it here either. But you know, when it comes to those big AAA budget games, and like I get worried sometimes that we're focusing too much on fidelity, pushing graphics and stuff like that. You know, it's not a unique opinion, right? But I think that's why I think indie games are thriving, is because they're making the focus more on gameplay and creative vision rather than just making a realistic interactable city. You know, obviously GTA has a lot of interesting mechanics within it. You know, the AI and all these interconnected systems to, you know, kind of give you that domino effect of, you know, you made something explode and having those interesting results come of it. But still, like, if you have to spend like $1 billion to do something like that, that's kind of crazy. So I hope you know, I hope people enjoy the game. I hope the game's great, but like, I just feel like we're setting too much expectations for everybody else to kind of reach that kind of level to say that it's AAA, you know? So let's look at my melee attack. The animation, so that's it. This one. So I believe the issue is that, you know, we do our motion warping. So we're going like whoop, and then we reach to here, but there's still some root motion after. So, oh no, the motion warping is here, right? So we go whoop. So we reach the point. But the reason why I make it that long is so that it's fast, right? And that's still kind of fast. So we go whoop, and then bam. Okay, I think that works actually better. So I think we're good with that. So we go bam. See, we would need to get a reference to our object here. Promote to variable, we're gonna say indicator. This is all stuff I would want to move to code eventually. And we're gonna have to, let's also see if we could fix the start. Indicator, so always on endability. This is where we're gonna do it, right? So we have event endability. Always call parent, of course, extradition. That is valid. Something like that. Why don't you use function timers instead of event controls? I mean, I just prefer to use event timers, so it's kind of all exposed out in the main graph. I don't really want to hide anything in functions at this moment. But, you know, function timers, same thing, more or less, no? So let's see if we properly destroy this now. Bam. Yeah, great. But, you know, it should happen on release, right? So we should probably grab this. This probably could be encapsulated into a function, right? So we could just say, so despawn indicator. So we'll always have that on endability, just in case it's a failsafe. Say we get hit halfway through, we get interrupted, we should destroy it. But also on release, over here, we destroy, right? So bam. Now that should get the behavior we want. We go like that, bam, right? So whoosh. It seems like it matches, right? I'll have to see. So we'll probably want to have a Boolean here to draw this debug sphere. I think that would be something interesting to always kind of show. But for now, it doesn't really matter. So, whoop. Oh. Okay. So when it reaches the max, that's also where I would potentially want to have some helper functions that kind of maybe will flash. Like either the sword, have like a glint or something, or flash the indicator to kind of let you know, okay, within these, sets of frames, if you let go, you get some sort of like damage buff. You know what I mean? So, whoop. But let's see what this looks like when we spawn dummy. Because I'm assuming they'll get the thing drawn on them, right? So, which we don't necessarily want. Like, I guess in general, I'll need to figure out how best to have the indicator ignore these things. Because, like, I don't know if I want to have... Maybe I could just ask how to make sure we have... So, UE5, decal, ignore specific actor classes, maybe? Is there any information like that? It's like, I want their open set connect actor. Like, there's some stuff on Reddit, but I don't know how. Here it is. Also custom adapt. Like real time VFX thing. Yeah, nothing too simple, unfortunately. So for now, let's go to our dummy. Let's just turn off receive decals. Should look okay. That looks good. So we're not dealing damage, but just figure that out later. We'll have to make sure it can maybe do some smart targeting here. Do you use any plugins for smooth character movement? No, well, I use an asset pack to get the movement to look pretty decent, but everything is the custom character movement controller. Whoop. And there is an inconsistency as well to figure out. Yeah, maybe it should target, Yeah, let's do one thing at a time. We're making good progress, though. I'm happy with what we have. We have some valid indicator here. But man, my PC, I think, deserves a restart at some point. We're going to have to update our own indicator as well. Give it some custom colors, give it a custom curve and stuff like that. Because I would want it to be sort of exponential, so you can kind of get that feeling, that explosive timing to make it a little challenging. But yeah, first things first, let's see if we can figure out how to fix this. So we have this bind on indicator start. So we have to find where that is. Can I figure that out? Is the asset pack ALS? Don't know what ALS stands for. Oh, what's the word? I don't know. I can't remember what ALS stands for. Let's see. Advanced Locomotion System. Okay. No, it's not. It's just a melee asset pack that is also included like locomotion stuff for strafing. So everything you're seeing, like just the movement and stuff, this is all just like the same animation pack and the melee attacks and the charge attack. Then I have some other asset packs like the dirt coming up from the ground. I also have to figure out, where I want my camera to be. I think up here is somewhere better because when we have a charge attack, I kind of want to see it. Maybe I don't want to delete it immediately. I'm not sure. Maybe it can dissolve or something, but whatever. A bunch of other problems for another day, right? So I have 30-ish more minutes. So let's figure out. So this is what class? This is a data asset. This is this definition. Let's look at it. We have this. The spawn is this, so it's more of like this actor. When we get to its definition, or classes, I should say. Yeah, problem. Yeah, future Devin is fucked, right? Yeah, for some reason it's just not really letting me find this stuff. So let me reload this thing. Yeah, we're letting it reload. Gonna be plugins, I guess. No, just that's not gonna be so. Engine plugins, marketplace, indicator source. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how to get this to load correctly. Do I have to like refresh the solution? I also bought this new game, Slots and Daggers, today. It's pretty good. I've been playing a lot of Mega Bonk and Bionic Bay, and now I'm playing Slots and Daggers. Like I wanted to keep playing what's the name of this one called? Atomic Heart. So I have to kind of jump back into it. How many hours do I have in it? 12 hours. But yeah, how much do I have in Mega Bonk? I probably have like 20 or 15 or something. Oh, only 10. Okay, good, I guess. Okay, so we have everything open here. So let's go into private. I don't know if it needs to be in spell indicator library, but let's look. So we do all this. Set scale, blah, blah, blah. Set offset position, course. Set materials. So start indicator, blah, blah, blah. So we gotta find this class. So it has our indicators, right? So finish and start signatures, right? So here is our function start indicator, right? So boom, boom, boom. So for whatever reason, this on indicator start doesn't get hit. So let's go back to it. Let's see. feel like it should. Like, I know maybe it's because it's wrapped in a lambda here, but yeah, set timer, create lambda, and then refresh rate, ignition. Let's just be sure. Point. No. Start indicator, timer, delegate. So, like, I feel like this shouldn't be here. Then it shouldn't be wrapped in this lambda. Wonder if maybe if it. Oh, okay. So maybe if it needs. It needs a delay. So let's make it a 1 second delay. And let's see if we get the start after a second. But that makes more sense. So maybe what we need to do for ourselves is, because I would like to rely always on the start. Like, do I have to like go into this and get like delay? Like, I don't even have exposed information about what's within this here, you know? Unless I can. Can I get the data? Like, data. What is exposed to me, honestly? So, all seems. So there's get current value, finish indicator lifetime, all this stuff, but yeah, this is the only thing that's kind of exposed there. So we have to say, for our own sake, maybe we need to say if that timer, start indicator and handle. It's a timer handle, but where is it getting the time? I guess is the next question, you know? So here, indicator definition delay, right? So do I get any information about the indicator definition here? I wonder if I can also create like another delegate for every time it's kind of like looped. Yeah, update value timer. Maybe there can also be a callback I can create for that. Just to kind of give me full control, so I don't have to make any kind of external timers. I can kind of fully rely on it if I want to. So let's do this. So indicator definition delay is greater than 0. This else I think that's better. So if it's greater than 0, you'll get the broadcast when the timer happens. If not, you'll get it immediately. So you can kind of fully rely on it there. Like we don't need this, so I'm just gonna nuke it. There's this function, but then there's also this lifetime function, which also has this kind of unindicator finished broadcasting. So in theory, I could, I hope, make another one like this. We're gonna call it F on indicator updated or refreshed. Bam. And then we'll do another one here. Got to undo a bunch of stuff. So on indicator refreshed. We'll grab this signature like that. And then indicator update value timer, good. We should be able to now hook into this correctly. So we can do update material, and we could just do the on indicator refresh dot broadcast, right? I don't think I have to really say anything, just this. Let me just add this stuff for me, so code. Now there's this. So where do we see this, right? Let me grab that. Ah, hey. I want to make sure I'm not missing any kind of references here. So, like, where are these at all? Okay. So literally just, this should work. Let's see what happens. And then if we could prove this, then I think that's a good place to stop. And then next time we'll kind of continue this effort. What I want to try to do next time is make the width of the path connect to the width of the traces, the sphere traces. So it's a kind of one-to-one visualization of what to expect and which enemies will probably damage. And of course, the real traces should probably be a little bit bigger for the player, at least. And for enemies, will always be a little bit smaller, just so it feels fair. So we got this. So now we should get this callback. Let me just make sure. Delay is 0. And we should get this callback. And we don't. Damn. Yeah, so if indicator delay is greater than 0, else we should get to this. And we do. It's weird that we don't really see it. Okay, hold on. That's pretty bizarre. Yeah, so character models and animations, all asset packs, all game logic for the most part is me. I'm a one-person team. Well, sort of. I have a friend helping me with some design aspects, but yeah, for the most part, it's a lot of asset packs. At least for this, like, prototype stuff, you know? Do I have to reestablish the signature or something? So weird. Assign on start, and there's also assign on refreshed. Maybe I can also try to see if that works. So start. sign on refresh. So refresh works. On refresh, I could just call just distance and get rid of that. Ooh. I get there, right? Let's visualize the square just to be sure. But yeah, this is where we're going to be seeing kind of the differentiation between the time here. Maybe I need to also return something on the refreshed, maybe? See, the curve we have is pretty linear. Let's offset by width too. Yeah, offset by width for sure. But yeah, what's still not 100% clear why this. Maybe it's because. Okay, I think I know why. Because by the time we get here versus here, it's already broadcasted by the time I even get to that. So I guess that's why, and I guess that makes sense. Guess that kind of makes sense. So unrefreshed, unfinished. Then we just call this, right? Now we got to make sure they sort of match in terms of how fast this is kind of going. So I feel like maybe the refresh needs to be time. For time dilation. What does this provide me, though? Here's a U function blueprint will get current value. So it's a float. So let's get current. Let's print that out. I'm hoping it's a 0 to 1. It's awesome. Okay, so I should, in theory, be able to use this value as this time. So, like, in theory, I could just bypass this like this, right? And I'm hoping this will kind of follow the thing, right? Bam. Okay, great. Access none, set current distance. around here. So let's do something like this. So can I override the indicator here? Same here. And then that way I can just say this. That. And then, yeah, we can just get the curve. And, like, you know, in theory, we could even just potentially put this into the alpha. And then just explicitly look at the curve there. Let's plug everything up just to kind of confirm here. Yep, guys can all be driven from the indicator curve. So this could be, instead of linear, something else. We'll try that next time. But this seems well and good. So we get to say finish, blah, blah. Awesome. Whoop, bam, no, bing, and then you let go, and you know, you get some special stuff, maybe additional, like, you know, a trail behind you kind of thing. I don't know. I don't think I have any VFX trails. Like, I have weapon trail, right? There's sword trails, but do I have any like Niagara systems for trails? So there's like a water trail and a shadow trail. I feel like this is like a projectile kind of thing. Yeah, it's a projectile kind of thing. So we'd have to see what kind of interesting stuff we could find later. But we got something. So, you know, it's like whoop, bam. And then, you know, it kind of creates a trail and stuff. Yeah, maybe quickly, because we only have a few minutes left before I have to start getting ready to do stuff. So, VFX trail, stylized. So there's attack trails, those kinds of trails, weapon trails. Yeah. I don't know if I really want weapon trails. Having something is in fact having. True. So there's this dash spell thing, but no. Okay, so I do have something like this. Stylized VFX thing like this kind of crap, right? So it's saved in my library, but I don't know if it's in my library. So it's not, so add to project. So it's here. So there's this. Might be a little too much, you know? Yeah, but it looks kind of cool. So maybe we can make like the cracks kind of draw like that, and then when you release, it kind of explodes behind you. Seems possible. We just have to see what's there. So system attributes, emitter attributes. Is there parameters? Is there like examples? Blueprints. good to see some of the examples. I mean, does he have a map? Showroom. Let's look. Briefly. Simulate. Sure. Okay, so he has one here, right? This one. Ray spawner. Does it have any information though? So muzzle, well, on tick, time active muzzle, energy. So muzzle delay, I'm guessing is what this is. So if I make it 1 second, is that 1? What do these values change? It's a 0. Goes like bam. Doesn't seem like there's controllable stuff here. So I'd want it to kind of glow, but not like, but that don't burst immediately, you know? Like, this seems like a decent path forward, though. Again, it might be too much for my character. I don't know. Maybe this is like a buff version of it. You know, like you play a card and it turns this into like a volcanic eruption thing, and you get this, right? And then enemies are burned when you get it. You know. So we just have to see what that looks like in practice. We can just save that for next time. So that's what I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you aren't already following me or subscribed to YouTube, make sure to do so. Same with Twitch. And also make sure to join our Discord, share your projects, talk anything game development, hang out, do what you will. So thanks again for watching, everybody. There's not that many people watching on Twitch, so we won't really we won't raid anybody, but enjoy your weekend. We'll come back sometime next week, maybe on Tuesday, and we'll see what we can do to improve this even more. Because yeah, maybe by default it's just, you know, dirt, or it's something, and then it kind of just turns into fire. Power rotation's not really matching. So a couple bugs, nothing too crazy here. I could maybe just make that go rotation there too. This will probably fix it. Hold on. Nope. Okay. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. See you soon. Bye bye.